side. Let's see some hands. Nobody, no one believes in me. That's for this side. All right, you've already won the battle. All right, can we go now? All right, cool. I'm kind of short, so I'm gonna do this. I will marry you. Let's talk after this fucking thing. All right, this is a collage. When we kissed, stingers laced my throat. I was grateful and unsaved. Your breath, slick with whiskey, is immortal. But the workings of time scoured fingerprints from the wall. A glacier's deepening blue, a new cold, an old temptation will not illuminate abandoned flesh at the raw shore of paradise. I am not sorry I tasted such honey. Better to be wild than good.
He loved me like a mountain range. Tell me the last or first time that worked out. For something set in stone, it sure is unpredictable. Unpredictable enough to make a dinner party out of a migration. Never enough, though, to make him tread lightly on my face where the most trepidation might occur. Stepping on granite with the buoyancy of cartilage and never stopping to think about the ridge. In fact, never looking back like he knew what I was capable of, knowing I would never give the same face he made when he left the wood stove on in my secluded cabin, his muddy boots at the threshold, a pickaxe holding the door open, and the wood unchopped. The snow's coming in. I know it's strange, so I don't blame him. I fell in love with a tree once. Thought I was a tree once, all bark and height and wisdom, but we learn differently. See, the world comes to a tree and my roots come with me. Secrets work the same way, both ways. Thought mountains might be louder about them, but all mineralize, erode, ethereal, and crumble down the cliff into good deeds at the bottom, rocks for humans' feet to wade, and I'll wait until the fault lines kiss again, push me up, spike me where I haven't spiked before. Yes, I'll wait.
This is excerpts from Catfish. I'm sitting alone in the Catfish saloon, motion sickness pulling blackened eyes into dizzy hands. The wall is booger smeared, a little blood in one. This place is a dump. We don't belong to each other, but we're trying to make it work, which is more than I can say about most relationships. And then, an old woman sits in the corner of the bar with a pushcart of wilting cabbage, the kind you can buy at 16th and Mission for 49 cents a pound when you can't afford anything else to eat. She cups her thistle chin, the whiskers blinking like dewdropped cobwebs in the splits of tree bark. I watch as she rubs at the hairs with mushroom flesh hands, blooming with wine-stained seashells, the bruises of longevity. I realize both of us have probably looked better.
So there was someone that was sexually assaulted at State like 2 weeks ago, and we all got an email about it, and I just want to kill a fool about that. So with that in mind, kill your local rapist. It didn't feel the same through the email. Pixels don't push like people do, but I do know that the walk where it happened smells like jasmine enough to make you cry, especially at night when the cold holds it in place. She must have been soaking in it when you grabbed her. For a minute, she might have thought she was yours. Nothing before this, and then never again. Thought power had come calling where the soil is wet and the bush says, shut up. And there is something sharp in the dark. Thought her senses weren't helping. And when it was over, the wave you gave her wafted everywhere. The jasmine straight to her stomach, and she wanted to retch, wondering how the scent could still be there when she wasn't. Your hands made me angry, but the email made me more so because, fuck you, I'm walking alone at night because your climax was 60 seconds and it was her Volta. I don't know her and I don't know you, and I am not the victim today, but I have been waiting for you my whole life, and I have a knife in my pocket that will cut me more than anyone. When we meet, and we will, get closer, smell the jasmine on my breath, look at my mouth, my lips to your ear. Watch me carve out each sweet nothing you gave to her.
Solid. He boasted of never having broken a bone. He was solid. He'd never gotten a cavity, never fallen in love, never found mucopus in his bowels, never worked without pay. She thinks of this as she chops through limestone and dirt, Indian rock, her father called it. The shovel does little but spark the flint, and the handle makes her blood welt and her hands go thick. She kicks him into the hole, and her blood starts to fill it. She can't bring herself to sink the big toe.
If you're Don Draper, then I'm that beatnik he gets stoned with. You're married and I'm easy, and you're making it complicated because you think you're more famous than you really are. Because when I said I loved Christina Hendricks, you thought I meant as a role model when I really meant I would do anything to that woman. But your mind is too vanilla to make that leap. So you've been acting like some mad ab asshole because I said I thought Don Draper was attractive when what I really meant was he's not a bad-looking scratching post, and I haven't seen enough of this show to see how their plot line plays out, but my guess is that the whole while Don is having this morning highball and waxing capitalistic, the beatnik's mind is on a new painting and a fold of new lovers and the rhythm method and on drinks tonight at some bar in the village where change is happening, man. And then he's pleading that Betty can never know, and the beatnik just laughs at the delusion of who runs this boardroom.
Alright, this is for Cece. I don't know what I want from this, from you. Your palms are square and thick, good for holding your punches. You have my father's flat feet. You clomp around wearing down the rug. Where the fuck are you going? Sit down. You call that a beard? I could shave that shit with 3 good bites. Wash those baby hairs down with the rest of the jack. The tap water here is no good, and you stink. Christ, I could absolve my sins in your pits. Can body odor be sexually transmitted? Hey, let's try it. Maybe if you pipe my leg, can't, won't. You gotta be on bottom or it all goes soft. Like, damn, you don't know what love is. Is that it? Well, put down the fucking Bukowski already. Go read some Rilke. Go read a Cosmo. Fuck. Go read a tube of toothpaste or anything. Just not that fucking Bukowski shit. Whatever. Look how hard your fucking cock is. It's like running into a wall tooth first. What do you think is filling that hard cock of yours if not love, blood, Christ, helium? Shit, I don't need to hear you say I love you any more than I need you to tell me how hard your cock is. I know when I'm getting fucked. You've exhausted the possibility of love with your heart's chronic yeast infections. Didn't anyone ever tell you why front to back, piss after fucking, you're holding in your shit and it's making you an asshole? Not even crabs will take root in your bed, but you worry I'd somehow be so inclined. I don't want to play house, I just want some goddamn dinner. For Christ's sake, not even a fucking saltine in the place. You tell me, hey, a shot of cum has as much protein as a pork chop, but fuck your Atkins diet. I need salts. I need fats, baby. I need some bristle to chew on. I got a sweet tooth, baby, and you're filling my cavities with your bland paper mache cock paste. You can't feed me. You gotta go to your mom's house just to eat. You can't get an erection without some eggs in your belly, without a short stack up your ass. Well, maybe when your mom's stuffing you with some Crohn's disease, I'll call up you make him and we can go fuck your dad. Jesus, though, I'm so tired of fucking your dad.
There is a certain cell block in heaven reserved for nymphets. Past the corridors echo where the sun hangs poised and our arms lay link between the bars. We hold cigarettes by the dryness of our lips and the gaps of our teeth, halt menarche with our lungs. We don't play cards, but are constantly dealing. We braid and unbraid one another's knots in quietude. We write diaries about the boys in our class on the backs of matchbooks. We light the matches and toss them to the patch of forest floor. We would grow into the nymphs we were supposed to be, woods for bones. Our only visitors are huntsmen who pick up the receiver on the other side of the glass, breathe rough, tell us our golden brown arms, tell us our nubile necks, tell us about the tide they traverse to be here. We sigh, lower our hands so the river won't flood. We stuff our bras with tissue. We soak our hands in warm water to ease the splinters out.
This one is for elbow room. I love you too, Pat. No tea, no shade. Fluoride teeth grind without give, like the band that won't stop. And there's too many people to stand in line for indecent drinks. Behavior, the punk waiting for a message that self-destructs and 1, 2, 3, 4. An unreliable savior is an empty role. Stalls of poetry, stalling, a used tampon in the likeness of the Virgin. I just hike up my skirt, I touch up the lipstick, am I hiding? No, he spits on my face when he tells me, hey, let's go back to my place. I let it absorb into my sterile cigarette smile, unable to raise a hand, make the simplest of motions, and there's never enough intent, and the words are unforgettable, no, forgettable, unwritable, but he's okay. Better than the last, or so I tell myself again and again and again and again. And for once, I don't dream about the other one, but in the antemeridian of what's becoming my side, and he's on his side, he says, we kind of sleep like North and South Korea. Or maybe he said Carolina. It's whatever you're into.
This is when Loria and I start talking to each other. Have y'all ever heard of a book called Lolita?
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. Yeah, you might not have heard of it. It's like hum is a sound and also a color, and also the name of my gentleman caller, and sometimes I lay my legs across his lap when my mother isn't there because she is such a weighty widow, and I snap my gum, and New England is so humid this time of year.
So we followed the sounds of frogs, thousands of them, and just drowning in this small river in Pennsylvania. And it had flooded the valley, and there I met a woman clad in nothing but snake oil cures, and she felt my bones, said my maternal skeleton was soft as sardines, easily digestible. Still, he watched me closely, looking for the motions of a mother. I just wanted him to pull my hair, and I knew when the winds blew, whether to cross my legs to the west or the east, to get him to remember why he was here.
Did I tell you about the canoe and the island at summer camp? With that boy and that girl in my cabin with the red hair and the freckles in the sun, though it was cool when we rode there. The three of us kissed one another down to the ground into a circle, and our eyes were closed because that's how you kiss, especially with a tongue knocking at the tip of your teeth, which fell out once in a dream. And when we rode back, my bunkmate and I linked arms and giggled, and the other campers said we looked like roses.
I'm nobody's child bride. My bouquet of roses came from the eye sockets of the heifer. Someone called her mother, but now she won't answer. How could she with no tongue? The root of your problem lies in a box of daddy tissues? I roll my eyes, my tongue, tie a cherry stem into, what is it? I think they called it a spermatozoon. Blow it between my lips like a kazoo.
One time I had a baby. My stomach a globe and my husband was dull, and we were naming our progeny after someone I didn't give a shit about. And when you came over after all those years gone, I asked you to please fix me up against the hallway and knock down all the picture frames, hold my wrists and tell me how bad I'd been. But my womb wouldn't yield, and instead you got on your knees and asked to wash my feet, had a washcloth on your shoulder already, handed me a check, cried. So I threw a tantrum because you had stopped playing our game, and I slapped you onto my front steps, and when I closed the door, I pushed my back against it, felt beneath my stomach, my singing lips, and cacophony of fingers, and my sighs in the flesh.